Hey y'all, it's Nancy the Handy Scandy. Welcome back for another crafty venture. This is Saturday Morning Makes number 11. Good morning, friends. Welcome to Saturday Morning Makes. As usual, I'm a little bit late, but I'm not even going to go into my story, but life is real. So we will just leave it at that. But today, I have these sweet tags that I want to share with you. I actually made them last night or yesterday morning and this morning, but I started with some papers from this particular, it's called a scrapbook calendar, and you can see when it's from. So I've had these for a long time, and there are lots of different designs in here. I have been giving them away in the past few years as part of my giveaways when I do giveaways, but there are a million different designs, like, well, at least 365. And the ones that I played with, I'll actually put up on screen, but the ones that are still in the box, I am not going to keep, so I'm using those as giveaways from time to time. But this is all that's left of the 3 that I used. No, that's not true. Of 2 of the ones that I used. This is what's left of the 3rd. There was this little fence image was right there. But I have those, and then this, and then I have these baking ones coming up. These are going to be fun. Really like that one. And then, of course, the patriotic ones I really love. Look how cute he is. And I'm not going to show you all of them, but there's some Halloween, which I don't know if you guys are familiar, but April is half-a-ween, meaning we're halfway to Halloween. So I will be having at least one half-a-ween project upcoming. And yeah. So right now, though, let's go ahead and jump into these. So I had those as my ideas, and I don't want to put them out here just yet, but I want to show you what I made the bases with. So I was actually hoping to have this more blondie one of these, but I didn't have it. So as you can see, this is from Park Lane. So I will show you what's left of the 12 by 12 piece of cardstock that I started with. This is all that's left. So 1, 2, make sure I'm in camera. 1, 2, 3, 4. Got 4 tags out of it. Then the next thing was I used these from Tim Holtz. It's my first time to use these dies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces to this die set. And I've had it now for a couple months, and it's my first time to use it, but love it. So I used this guy as the base for each of the tags, and then I also used this one for some of the smaller tags, you can see, and then this guy right here with the little scallop top for those ones. And also I used the whole reinforcer, and I used this tiny little tag, which is, I thought I had one on each of the designs, but I don't. This one doesn't have it. But anyway, so that is my frame set, or my die set. Love it. I will be using that a lot more in the future. So what else do we have? The next layer was stenciling. So I have this beautiful stencil from Sweet and Sassy Stamps. It is called Script, simply Script, and it's one of my favorites. I love it, and it's just a very subtle, you can't really even tell that it's script on the back. On some of them you can, but I used a crackle paste to stencil through that, but that's the stencil itself. Very nice, very nice. And then I cut my pieces out. I did my fussy cutting. Again, I should have shown you the calendar pages that I started with. So I obviously cut the heart out, and then I cut it in half, and I use it to create 2 different tags. And for these guys, oh, where's my die set? Here it is. It is the Hellebore flower dies from Whimsy Stamps, and these were actually already cut and stored in this pack with the dies themselves. So there are 3 dies, different sizes. On this one, the large one and the medium one. And then this is the medium and the small. So anyway, I did not use the centers to create the stamen. I just used some of the little dots that come out when you do your die cutting. So here I have a couple of the tags left over. This one and these two cute little white ones, but I also have a hole reinforcer. And then I have the little centers that are left over when you do your die cutting. And I like to use these little guys as embellishments. I have a teeny tiny one as well. I didn't use the teeny tinies this time, but you can see them. You can see how it has two types of paper, because I glue, this paper is very, very thin, right? Very, very thin. So I will adhere this down to a piece of cardstock, and then I have my own pattern paper, essentially. So for instance, like on both of these, this one was already cut, but then I put glue down and I put a strip of the red and then a little bit of that little floral piece, and then I just cut it out. This one, very similar. I had a piece of the floral. I liked that it still had the little frame on there, and then I added the plaid to the end, and then I just die cut it. And then same thing. I think it's a really cute way to create your own pattern paper, in a sense. I really like it. I think it's fun. Now over here, I did not do that, but I have this plaid tag and the solid white, and on this, it's a piece of this that I've cut into a spiral. Let me see if I can show you what I mean. Let me find another one and show you what I mean. Let me see. I'll just use this yellow. I'll use the yellow. So let me pull out. These are some of my favorite scissors right now. I got them off of Amazon. But I am going to just take a square. Let me set these aside. I know I kind of got sidetracked, but and you just, my Cricut machine actually has some programs, for lack of a better word, that will cut these out, and some of them will have like scalloped edges or whatever, but you don't need anything fancy like that. And depending on how wide your spiral is how tall your flower will be. So you just cut your spiral, and you can see that I'm being really inconsistent. That's not on purpose, but it's okay. And then at the very end, you want to keep like a little flat piece. And so what I do is I typically just cut that off, because you need a starting point. And I like to take a pencil or something to kind of give your paper some curve to it so it will roll up easier. You don't have to, but that's just something I like to do. If you guys make these types of flowers, tell me what your secrets are. I'd love to know, because I just really did this off the cuff. I was like, I can do this. So not trying for perfection here. If you guys know me at all, I'm not a perfectionist. Just trying to give the cardstock some bend. And so you can start by adding a little bit of glue here, which I'll do with my Crystal Glaze. Put it on the back side because that's where I want it to stick. You can use hot glue. You can use whatever you want. There are so many adhesives on the market, and I rarely use like glossy accents or Crystal Glaze. Rarely use those for adhesives, but they work like that. And I probably should have used some hot glue just because it would take faster. So, but anyway, and then you just roll it up. You want to keep your bottom together and let the top flare out, because that's how you get your petal. It's a very whimsical flower. Again, not about perfection. If you want to put a little bit of glue down as you go, I'm opening. You can do that. Again, I just like to do it to the bottom because I want that top to flare out some. And I don't like to glue the whole thing as I go because I like it to have some movement. Now on this little guy, you can see it opened up quite a bit because I had it a really tight spiral like that. But I didn't have it glued down, so it opened up quite a bit, but I'm not mad about it. I mean, it's not supposed to be a perfect flower. It's supposed to be like a whimsical, almost a boho kind of thing, I guess, if you will. But I'm almost done here. Bear with me. I probably made this too big for a demonstration, but here we are. And you just keep rolling it around and around and around. Now the spiral is what allows you to get that circular floral shape, and you can kind of see how it's kind of petally. The petals are kind of taking place like maybe a rosebud or some other kind of flower that's just opening. It has that tight, like all the petals surrounding the center. What is the center of a flower called? Because I know the stamen are part of it, but what is that called? If you know, let me know, because I don't know. Anyway, almost done, almost done. I wish my hot glue gun were still hot because it would help me to adhere this. But, so you have it all rolled up, and again, not perfect. If I let go, it's going to go crazy. But you take a little bit of glue on this part, and then you adhere it right there. I always do another little twist if I can. And then there's the flower. You know what? I'm going to plug my hot glue gun back in. I got to let it go. But see, you could even leave it all undone like that, and that's still a really cute look. And then you have a flower that's just more open than the bud. So I'll come back to that after my glue gun gets hot, but I just wanted to share this glue gun. This is one that I've had for many years. Sometimes I like to use my older ones. I don't know if you guys know, but my youngest daughter died in a car crash several years ago, and this is one that she always used. She used to like to do glue art and crayon art, where you put the crayon in as the hot glue and it melts it, and she would make different designs and patterns and drips and things, and she took it to school. So this one is very precious to me. And you can see it is well used and well loved, and I don't even know how old this is, but I probably will never get rid of that one, whether I use it or not. And this one, I can't remember, to be honest, if I got it before or after she passed, but I like it a lot. It gets so hot that it continually drips. So I typically, when I'm crafting, will just use my newer tonic. It's not tonic, Xyron one. But anyway, that's my hot glue gun story. But I am going to leave this kind of open, and when that heats up, I'll put a dab of glue and we'll finish this guy off. But that's how you make them. I almost like this one better than that one. But anyway, let me get back to my supplies, okay? I'm going to pull these out and then we'll look at them in detail. But I just want you guys to see what I've got here. So again, all of these pieces were cut out from the actual calendar pages themselves. So I used a couple stamp sets actually from Pink Fresh Studio. And on this one, you've got this Be Brave, Just Start. And there are some others on here too. Cling to Joy, How Rare and Beautiful You Are, Smile, Darling, Just Believe in Yourself, and Thank You. And then again, there's the Be Brave, Just Start. You've got this. And it's a really pretty swag. I actually won this in one of their giveaways a couple years ago. And then this one is the Paisley, and it has some floral bits, but the ones that I use this little stamp. It says, it's the little things that make life big. And I put that one on here. It's the little things that make life big. And I could have stamped that on a tag, but I thought, I don't know, I just thought it looked kind of cute on there. But that's those two. Let me put that up out of the way, excuse my arm. And then the Dream, Hope, Believe came from this little stamp set from Penny Black, Happy Snippets. It's one of the first things I ever bought from Penny Black. And I tend to forget that I have it because there's always something new coming, you know. But I encourage you, go back and shop your stash. And sometimes I think that it's actually a blessing if you don't have a budget to buy more, because it improves that creativity. It increases the way that you think about things and the neuroplasticity, like the ability of your brain to think outside the box and to problem solve. Being kind of stuck, if you will, with just a few supplies and having to use them in different ways is very good for all of those things. So I was glad to go back and reuse these, which I didn't use them in necessarily a creative way. I just stamped them. But I thought they were really cute. And this is one that I hope to leave out and use it more often because it covers everything. Maybe not everything. It doesn't have like sympathy on here, but it does say I'm here for you. It's more the happy, as it implies, happy snippets, but you bring me joy. Love that one. This smile is such a pretty font. Yeah, the play. I love that it's a playful font. Okay, moving on. That's how I got those, and we talked about how I got those. Oh, and the You Are My Favorite. Which one did that come from? Is that on this one? Yeah, sorry, you can't barely see it for the barcode, but it's right there. Okay, so that's where all of my sentiments came from. We know where the tags came from. We know where the images came from. We know where the florals came from and where these came from, and these little dot dudes as well as the reinforcers. So we got all of that, right? And how the tags have different patterns and things on them. So what is left? The safety pins. So a few months ago, I got a stash from Amazon because I really want to get into making charms, but I've lost everything except these these safety pins. And well, I'll turn it this way because I can't get it open. But obviously there are several different sizes, and this one is the smallest. This one is the second smallest, and this one also is the smallest. No, it's the same as that. But anyway, I really wanted to add like some charms and things, but I can't find them. So, but I was able to locate those, and I thought those are a great second. I have some, what are they called? Like garment tags or bulb, not tags, pins or bulb pins. I guess it depends on how you've used them or what your preference is and what you call them, but that's what I wanted to use, but I just couldn't find them. I'm going to do my glue on here really quick. I will add just a little bit right there. I guess that's more than a little bit, but I need it to get up in all those cracks and things. And so I did not tighten it up very much, but you just want to make sure that all the bits and pieces get down in that glue so that they stay. And that's my flower. And you can hand cut some leaves if you want, or die cut. You know, whatever you want to do, or stamp and fussy cut, whatever you want to do. But super cute, right? I mean, that, and super simple. It's a little messy, so if you are more of a perfectionist, you may not like this type, but I'm not. So, all right. So there is that. I can unplug my glue gun again. Let that guy rest. It's been well used this weekend. For some of my embellishing, I added the Nouveau crystal drops. Did it on all the little flowers. On this bunny, I did this bow and the whole, no, it's not an umbrella. It's a balloon. Oh my. So on this one, it's just there. On this one, it's on the center, which again, it's just one of these. And then I put the glaze on the florals and on those florals as well. This one I did on the leaves too. And then same on this one. So this one has a little bit less. It just has that spot and that spot. But I think it's okay. I could go back and add it to the florals, and I may. But for now, that's all I'm going to do. What I do still want to do is add some hearts, but I want to talk about the laces first. So you guys may or may not know that when I bought, or when I did that stash from Amazon, I also bought a bunch of laces. I apologize, things are falling. Okay, so here is one of the boards. So I love the smaller ones, and so that's really what I used a lot of today. This one I used for this top and this top. You can see. Now, one of the things that I do a lot when I use something like this or a jute or something that's going to fray really bad, if I want the fray, I let it fray, and then I will add some glue, which I can't even find my glue right now. Where is my glue? Well, we'll pretend it's this, because this is not the glue that I used, but you could. And I just put a little bead along the edge, and then I do this with my fingers and kind of spread it around, and that will sort of seal the fibers so that they don't unwind any more than you want them to. And if there's excess, then I simply snip it off. Or if there's frays that you don't like, you just snip, and that's all there is to it. Now for this little trim on the side, now the backs, my backs never look good. This is, wait a minute, that's not the same one. This is the same as this. Let me get my stuff together. So this is the same as this and the same as this one. And I used, is it this one? Let me see. Nope, it is this one. This is the one that I went around all the edges with, or the edges that I went around, I used this one. Now I did not go around all the edges, and I may go back and add that. I may come back and add that to the bottom. I don't know. And this one too, if I add it, it'll be to the bottom. But this is the one that I did all of my edges with, and I did both of these two with the same. Nope, that's not even true. What in the world? I guess this is the only one that I used it as the tie at the top. So let me set that aside. Now for this particular lace, I don't know where it's wound at, right here. I love it. It's very, very pretty. I used it for this tag top and this one. You can see that. They're all the same. And I did the same thing because it started to fray in a way that I didn't like. So I added a bead of glue, and then I just did that, and I snipped off any excess that I didn't like. And then this one is this more chunky, this more chunky lace. And it had more places where it could fray. So you can see that end is even fraying in a way that it's not necessarily pleasant, but you fix that when you use it the next time. So that one's really short, but I like it. I think it's cute. So next thing is the flosses, like this floss, and this isn't a floss, but it's some kind of a, I don't know, some kind of a weird, I'll call it a string. And then these flosses were just as they are, but the pink ones, I didn't have any pink kind of floss or twine in my stash, so I had this old, I don't know what you call this, a roll? I'll call it a roll. This string, I don't even know how old it is. I feel like this was from when I was a child, and I brought it with me after I moved out on my own. I could be wrong, but this is old. This was white. So you can see it is no longer white. It is incredibly yellowed, but I don't hate that. I mean, we go for that aged look all the time, right? But what I did to make it pink was I just squished out some ink on my desktop. It was picked raspberry, and I sprayed water with it, and I took, I don't know, maybe 2 feet worth of this string, and I just balled it up, and I dyed it with the picked raspberry ink, and then I hung it in front of my fan, and it was dry in like 2 minutes. It didn't take long at all. And then I just cut it and used it for the pieces that I wanted it for. So obviously I used it here, and I used it on each of these tiny tags, and I used it at the top of each one of these. So I had a totally different direction in my mind when I started, because I thought that I wanted to make them really vintage and kind of yellow all of the white. Anywhere where there was white, I wanted it to be more yellowed. I was going to use antique linen. But once I started putting it together, I just really loved the bold, clean white. And so that's how I left it. And I really like it. Let me scoot these things out of the way. hope that everything is staying in frame because I'm moving stuff around. But yeah, so let's look at each one. Now you guys let me know what you think. Do I need to go around the edges and finish all of them with the lace? Sometimes I like things to be a little bit different and look not unfinished, but just, I don't know, just different. I don't know if I'm going to make these into a book or just leave them. I might actually put them into, incorporate them into an art journal or add them to the front of a card. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them yet. But yeah, so this glimmery cardstock. It's a thin cardstock, but it's a cardstock. And then I use the stencil. Can you see the crackle? Maybe not so much in that one. But, and then this guy, I fussy cut him out of that yellow background. I did not go in between the fence slats. I just wasn't going to invest that much of my time and effort into it, but I love it just as it is. And I already told you how I did this. I had just a chunk of white scrap, and I glued the plaid down and then the floral down, and then I used a strip of this just to kind of clean up the edges. And these little strips, I literally just use my guillotine trimmer, and I just cut a strip from there. So love it. I just love it. And I used this dark brown on here just because I felt like it needed a little bit of contrast, and they all feel like these two could really use some brown contrast, and I may go back and do that. But I don't know. For now, I'm done. Except I want to do one more thing with you, and I'll show you what that is in a minute. But I did this little tag in the same way. And then, as I said, I had these die cuts in the package, so I didn't have to die cut. I just did a little bit of ink blending, curled up the petals with the pencil, which they've gone flat now because I've been working on them for a while. But you can add that curl back and that dimension back. I think it's really happy. And then again, as I mentioned, I cut the heart in half. Oh, let me get that off there. And then these are the little excess that comes out when you cut your reinforcers. And I just thought it was super sweet. And this one, of course, is the other half of that heart, and that's where I put my sentiment. This is where I'm going to put one more thing, and I'll show you guys here in just a minute. And I already told you how I did that. I don't think you can see the crackle any better on these two than you could on that one. But this, you can see I used a different center. That's a plaid one. That one's a solid ready pink. And then this guy, I think this guy might be my favorite. And again, you can refer back to the beginning where I put in the picture of what these calendar pages look like. So I fussy cut him out, and then I did just some very, very simple ink blending. I don't know how well you can see that, but I used just the ink that was left in a blending brush. Did a little bit of pink behind him to allow him to pop off of the white, and did a little bit of green right here, and it's very similar to the green that was on him in the picture. So I just lifted him up so that his balloon could be on a different tag. I don't know what it was about that, but that idea just kind of made my heart happy for his balloon to be like outside a frame and onto its own frame. I thought that was super cute. And then again, I used some more of those excess reinforcer holes to do that. And you are my favorite. I actually poked the hole right there because it was just too far. It didn't make sense in this context for the safety pin to be coming out of that hole. And I didn't want it just kind of floating over on its own. I wanted it to be married to the whole piece. So I just poked it in. And there's no right or wrong. I would like there to have been a charm on there, but the next piece that I'm about to do, I think, will fill what I'm feeling is a gap there. So those are my 4 tags for today. And what I want to do is take these sweet little, I'll call them gems, but they're little acrylic hearts, and I will pour them into a little dish. Now you guys know that most, or maybe you do, maybe you don't, most of the time I use my embellishments from This Calls for Confetti. And I love This Calls for Confetti. My sweet friend Lisa owns the shop. She's amazing. Best customer service I've probably ever had. And I've had some really good customer service in this industry. But yeah, anyway, I still have a lot of embellies from other companies, from Honeybee, from Sparkle Blends, who's no longer in business. Sadly, Miss Amber went out of business. But anyway, these I thought were just perfect. The coloring was perfect of this little pink. And so here we go. On this one, I feel like I'll put just one little guy there. But the question is, do I want this kind of pink? I think I do want that kind of pink. Make sure you get it going in the right direction. Look at that. That's what it needed. Does it need one right here in the center? I don't think so. I think that's all it needs. What do you guys think? I'm going to stop there. I may go back and add more at another time, but I think I'm done. Now on this one, first of all, let me put a little bit of glue behind it because I don't want it floating around. I do want it kind of askew, so I'll glue it down like that. But I think I just want one in the center. But do I want like this kind of frosty one? Well, if I could get it to turn over, right? Do I want the frosty one, or do I want, which one? I think this one. I think this one wins. I think that one's too subtle. So just one heart right in the middle, lined up with the tag. I think right here I can put a frosty one because it looks more frosty down here, but I want a smaller one. So I think that one wins for there. And I think right here or right here, I want a small, like this one. Teeny, teeny, tiny, just super, super subtle. Make sure I'm getting it going in the right direction. Okay, so there's those. And on this one, I think I want to put a tiny one there. And I think that I want one maybe right up in here. So over here again, I want super subtle. I don't want teeny tiny though. I want this size for right here. And that actually makes it super subtle. And I think I want the teeny tiny one in that same finish on the tag, because it's just a tiny little space. Let me make sure I get it going in the right direction. It's hard to tell when it's on the pickup tool. Hope my head wasn't in the way. But again, just super subtle, something simple, just to kind of finish it off. Now on this one, does it even need anything? I feel like for continuity, yes. Maybe I'll put one right here. Ooh, too much glue coming out. I think we will go with the frosted one again, because I have that little bit of ink blending on the ends of those tags. I think this is really soft and subtle like that, so we'll go with that. All right, and that's it. Those are my tags. So I know a few weeks ago I showed you the green bases that I said I was going to make into tags with using a fox stamp set from Whimsy, and I did. So if you missed that video, I will try to link it downstairs. I don't like using the ones in the cards in the corner, because then you have to click out of the video that's playing to go to that one. So I'll put it down in the description box if you're interested in seeing it. And I guess that's it, guys. So remember, I didn't say this in the beginning, but Saturday Morning Makes. Use the hashtag SatMornMakes, stands for Saturday Morning Makes, of course. And that will populate a playlist, really, of all of the different videos that have been going up each week by all of the creators that are playing along. And this was created by the sweet Jillian Norwood of Greenwood Girl Cards. And I'm not going to go into all of that just because I want to be mindful of your time. But Jill is amazing. She's so precious. She has the sweetest, most tender heart. And I just love watching her and her videos and seeing all the crafty friends that she has in this community and the products that she shares. And I just wanted to be a part of it in any way that I could. So I just jumped right in. If you would like to be a part of it, feel free to jump right in. Whatever you want to make. Doesn't have to be a paper craft. Doesn't have to be card making, nothing like that. Whatever you want, even if it's baking, if it's sewing, if it's crocheting, if it's woodworking, whatever it might be. If you want to share your crafty makes, just use the hashtag #SatMornMakes and post it on Saturday if possible. I tend to post mine on Sundays just because life happens. But yeah, hashtag #SatMornMakes, and I hope to see you guys out there again. Until next time, guys, this has been Nancy, the Handy Scandy for Saturday Morning Makes, and I'll see you next time. Mwah. Now, if y'all stuck with me to the end last week, make sure you go back and look to see who the winner was. And this week, I want you to put sweet tags in your comment. And again, you will be entered for a giveaway. Thank you guys so much. You know I love you and I enjoy spending time with you. I thank you for spending yours with me. And until next time, this is Nancy, the Handy Scandy for Saturday Morning Makes. Mwah. I'm really out this time.